How's it going, folks? Welcome into Overtalk. My name is Kid Liquid, and with me this week we have Joshua Piscator Lee, Rachel Seltzer Querico, Bizzle, Chris Bizzle, and Dylan Pepinus Wonderbrook. I had to say it twice, man, because just god damn it, Bizzle.
He doesn't get a first name, man.
He doesn't. He's
deserve
just
one.
Bizzle.
I don't ever get a first name. Actually,
Nah,
it's my name
dog.
with all my friends too.
He
So
just doesn't deserve one until he gets hit by a Hanzo ulti. He just doesn't get one.
That's an old joke.
That's an old.
Our
joke.
loyal
I'm bringing
viewers
it
and
all the
listeners will
way
get
back.
that one.
Let's
Uh,
ask the question. Chris, did you ever get hit by that Hanzo ulti? Did you ever die from one?
did I die from one? I played too much Bastion. Of course I did.
See, okay, there we go. There we go. Our point has been proven. We can drop the main.
All is right with the world now. So yeah, I think today is a culmination episode of sorts. So it's the monthly meta where we go ahead and break down the meta for the month. But since this is the end of the beta, really, I wanted to go over and sort of talk about the progression of the meta that we saw throughout the beta and kind of what that means for Overwatch as a whole and the way Blizzard was approaching balance changes and things like that. So yeah, guys, so the way I kind of broke it down was the meta really kind of went with the way the supports went. So we had a Pharah Mercy meta for a while, then Mercy got a little bit of a nerf, then Lucio kind of came up. Was
a little bit.
Okay, a little bit of it. Then Mercy came, or then Lucio kind of spurred up, and then we had a Zenyatta or when Lucio got hit a little bit, then Zenyatta came up, with Symmetra come up a little bit. Like what have you guys seen sort of as the progression of the meta, Rachel? I guess.
I mean, it's been sort of different for me because I've been focusing mostly on I did a little casting with Seamus, so we did like a tournament that had a one hero limit, and so I thought that was really interesting. I think like that, of course the meta is going to be totally different for that, and we saw just pretty even groups of people sticking to support, to tank, and trying to get 2 DPS in there. And I think that, you're going to see the same things without hero limits in competitive matches. But you see a lot of tanks doubling up. So I've seen situations with like 2 divas now, lots of tracers everywhere. I think tracer is currently the most popular, annoying meta thing going on right now.
And just to add on to that a little bit, because I casted that same tournament, but towards the beginning, I haven't casted the last 2 or 3 broadcasts, but towards the beginning, back when Zenyatta was an absolute garbage, we used to see one Lucio, one Zenyatta in almost every single comp, because that's when Mercy was not only nerfed, but kind of gutted and left bleeding on the sidewalk. And then after Mercy got a little bit of a quality of life change, we saw every single team running pretty much Lucio and Mercy. If you're running Zenyatta, you just wanted to lose. Symmetra occasionally came out from certain players. I know there's at least one player in the ORC who constantly got triples or quad kills with Symmetra over and over again. But generally, it's been Lucio and Mercy up until the beta ended. Even in Pugs, that's what people generally shift towards.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of a Symmetra if they're on defense, or
Right.
if they're Saggy Dragon on offense. But yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I think we're back to the Mercy. We've gone full circle around everything, and we're pretty much back to Mercy as the main support.
Well, and one thing I really want to point out is that how they've nerfed supports, I think, has changed in mentality. So one of the more recent nerfs I want to focus on is the Symmetra nerf. For people that haven't been following directly, Symmetra's old shield used to be 50 health. And that's regenerative. It always comes back if you lose it. So it was a very valuable shield for high-speed flankers. So essentially, low health, like Tracer, this was actually the example they gave in the nerf patch notes. So Tracer's original health is 150, very squishy, meant to be if she's caught out of position or if she's caught at close range, she's going to go down fairly easily. Well, now if you have Symmetra give her 50 health, she goes up to 200 and she's a much bigger issue. Things that would have originally killed her, say, a basic sniper body shot or a Hanzo arrow, or maybe even just some light Zenyatta damage, those are no longer killing her. On top of that, she has a way to regenerate 50 health that she didn't have previously. So when they identified the problem of this synergy with Tracer and Symmetra, rather than hitting the Tracer, they decided to actually hit the support that caused the synergy instead of the actual, essentially, characters that they thought were more problematic in this Symmetra up Tracer. This also happened with Zenyatta's nerf. They were saying that the Orb of Harmony was too valuable on targets such as Tracer once again and Reaper, where they were constantly healing when they were out and about without Zenyatta really even being around them or really even interacting with them. They were just gaining this synergy that was, it was problematic to say. So it's really interesting to see how the first couple of nerfs, which were directly to Lucio and directly to Mercy and what they do and what they bring to a team, and now they're more nerfing supports under a smaller category, which I think fits the overall trend, which was, big, large-scale nerfs and changes, to now they're really doing a lot more almost fine-tuning of changes here. So we see it as these heroes are now being nerfed for their synergies rather than for their direct play potential.
Sure. And that's actually a really good point. Like, what... So we mainly talked about supports and that sort of being... We've talked about this whole show, this whole 20 weeks we've been on, we've been talking about how important supports are in Overwatch. And, like, does the fact that they hit Mercy and Lucio so hard, does that speak to their power overall and how kind of out of balance they were to begin with?
I think so.
Oh, go Josh.
I was going to say I think so because I'm approaching it from the competitive kind of viewpoint. There was a time in competitive play where the factor that mainly determined whether or not you won a team fight was based on whether or not you had sound barrier as Lucio. And when fights are that one-dimensional, where your win condition is, do I have sound barrier? Yes, I win. Do I not? No, I lose. Like, the fact that these ultimates and these kits were so overloaded, and especially in the support class, was, I think, a big problem. Because before Lucio got his most recent couple of nerfs where his ult takes a lot longer to recharge and his damage is actually the radius on his shots is actually a lot smaller, he was just way too oppressive because he could do pretty much everything. He could heal you, he could peel, in addition to giving everybody a massive effective health pool during fights. So I think they are going in the right direction in terms of these nerfs targeting supports, because supports should be like your backup and kind of your lifeline. They should not be your holy shit, Jesus, take the wheel kind of people.
Or at least they shouldn't be able to do that with a really big trade-off. So let's take Lucio versus Zenyatta. Zenyatta, if he is supported correctly, can be insane. He can literally, do top-line DPS with almost any offensive character out there. But that comes at the risk of that he's literally made of paper, and he's slow. You're not going to miss many shots on him. A Widow missing a shot on his Zenyatta is just like a crime. Whereas with Lucio, he's jumping around, he's hard to hit, and then he has a self-heal that makes him incredibly durable as well. So what I really like with what they did with Lucio was they looked at what they wanted to be the identity of the support. They said, okay, you're way too well-rounded right now. You're good heals, you're adequate DPS, you've got survivability. Let's really try and hone you in on one of these things. And they really kind of changed him into this survivability medic, where he's not going to do the best heals in the game. Although, at the end of the game, he will have the highest heal mark, just because he heals everything in the area. But to a direct single target, his heal's not going to be outrageous. It's not going to be oppressive. His utility got toned down, so he can't get his ultimate as often as he used to. And now they're more like, he is the surviving healer. So let's say you're playing a game as support, and you play Mercy and someone's jumping straight on you, like a Winston or a Tracer. Or you're trying to play Zenyatta and you're instantly getting taken out by a Widowmaker or Hanzo. You go Lucio because you want to survive. You're not getting that support as a support, so you need to be more self-reliant. And it's nice to have that option. It's like, oh, there's a support I can play if I want to be self-reliant. Or it's, oh, hey, we already have another support. I can afford to be this other support because now I've, got the support on support to make this support viable. I like this. Because it's giving them different purposes other than just being support A, B, C, or D.
Sure.
That's really good. It's
Yeah.
really well put.
Yeah.
End
really.
of conversation. Good night.
Yeah, we're done here. Check
Sorry.
off. We're done.
Show's over,
All right,
folks.
guys, that was a good show. 11
All right.
minutes. I think we covered everything.
Actually, on a mostly on topic thing, I want to talk about how we've gone through supports and pugs throughout the entire game, or the
there's
entire.
sports and pugs.
Okay.
I'm one of them. I'm
So-
a support and a tank.
I'm one of them. I feel like
Yeah.
every time I play
Don't-
Overwatch, it's a charity moment. I'm like, no, okay, I'll try and be both tank and healer. Okay, guys. Yeah.
It's like, when are they
Hey,
going to
Farrah,
allow like Roadhog to have AoE heal? Like
That'd be sick.
that's what we
Dylan,
need.
What's really funny is most of the games come down to like the last two players picking. It's me and somebody else. I'm like, do you want to be a tank or do you want to be a support? Because that's what you
Right.
got left.
We have to play in a part. Like I played a game I remember when Rachel, you and I were playing together, and you picked Bastion. I'm like, all right, let's freaking do this. And I picked Mercy, and your brother picked like Reinhardt, and we just sat in a corner for 7 minutes, and you just like, it was so dumb.
Okay.
Yeah,
But the
that's
point-
my favorite part of the meta right now.
The point I-
But you can beat it if you can organize, and I think what I'm doing when I play a Bastion, Reinhardt, Mercy combo is I'm really incentivizing teamwork on the other team. I'm helping them be better players than people.
Charity.
Okay. The thing I want to talk
I'm
about
doing
is
good.
I'm not sure you remember this, but like in like episode God 4 or 5 or whatever, we were talking about like that like nobody picks support in pugs, right?
Right.
And one of us suggested, hey, so healing done is one of the medals. And ever since that happened, it hasn't been a lot, but there's been a considerable amount more just random people picking
Well, I think
picking it.
What games are you playing? I don't see
No.
anybody play freaking support.
and honestly,
What?
I think
There's
the
a
reason
my Lucio bar is that much longer than everybody else.
No, I think it goes back to more of the idea that people are finally starting to figure out, or like the beta's been out we've had the beta for 6 months, man. Like the people are starting to figure out that supports are important in Overwatch, probably more so than any kind of offense or defensive character.
Yeah.
And so it's people are starting to figure that out, and they're starting to realize that. And I think especially with ranked coming out, and I think ranked is a big deal. Like people are starting to figure out how to win at Overwatch, and that's becoming a big factor. So even if you're playing normals, like people have playing ranked, and they understand sort of the meta a lot better just through that usage.
Yeah.
So what?
But I think it.
Go for
sorry.
it. No, keep going.
What I was gonna say is like I still feel like even though people know the importance of support, and I mean I'm going to draw a parallel here, even if it's unjustly to League of Legends, where people know that support's important. They know that there's value in it, and they know it has to be on the team. Like there's a role it fills. But I think for a lot of people, especially now that people have started to learn the offense heroes, like people are more confident. I think people actually used to play support a little bit more back when we were all starting out fresh, because people weren't as confident in their ability to play other heroes. And most of the supports they're pretty high skill floor. It's hard to be an awful Mercy. You can still be a bad Mercy. We see them a lot. But it's hard to be an awful Mercy. It's hard to be an awful Lucio. Symmetra and Zenyatta take a little bit more thought concept behind them. But essentially, most of them have a pretty high skill floor. Whereas if you're a garbage tracer, you are not worth anything. So it's really kind of weird right now, because now that people are more confident on their offensive heroes, I think they're shying away from support because they're like, well, I could play support, but then I could play this really rewarding, really active character on the other side. I think they still need to hit up the active component for supports.
Do you think part of it too is that we just see? I mean, I guess I can't say never. This is our other meme. I've never seen a Lucio play the game, and I personally still haven't. I think, but like you just see them so much more rarely, and then all the time, like, oh god, I hated playing with people recently where they're like, oh, I want to make a big splash, so I'm gonna pick like Farrah, or something that can do a lot of damage very quickly, or Torbjorn, and I definitely want to get play of the game so I can look cool in front of all these other people. And I'm like, fuck you, like I'm sitting here so unappreciated, healing your ass, damaging your ass up, and like,
Oh, sorry.
it's upsetting. So I think a lot of other people who play a game like this and who are going in like solo on a team, or they want to prove that they're contributing. They want to be like, I'm not the one who sucks. I didn't bring us down. So, even on teams, especially on teams where people are losing, everyone's like, I'll be the DPS. I'll at least get play of the game. And they abandon all these positions, which are essential for the win, but are not going to give them that moment of glory. I think more and more people just figured out to run to the damaged people for some validation of their skill, which is pessimistic to me. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But the funniest thing is, like, we're talking about, like, trying to get the play of the game. I can tell you from experience, if you want play of the game, play your tanks and be good at your tanks. Because the two people I see get it most frequently from good play and good ults are Reinhardt and Zarya.
Yeah.
I mean, if you are a good Zarya, not only do you get a card every game, I literally mean every single game.
For them bubbles, man. Them bubbles will always give you a card.
Protective bubbles, #1 card getter in the game. But also your ulti, it's game breaking. Like, if you are diligent about when you put out the Zarya ulti, I guarantee if you are not the person getting play of the game, the person getting play of the game is because of your ulti. Like, it's literally like 100% play of the game material.
Like
so,
Mercy ult.
lesson learned, kids. If you want play of the game, go start playing Zarya and Reinhardt right now. It's all you play. The rest of your experience in the game, you're just playing two tanks.
I'm pretty bad, and I get a lot of play of the games as Reinhardt, so
Can confirm he's incredibly bad.
Hey, at least he's playing Reinhardt, not
Yo,
Bastion.
Bizzle goes off on Reinhardt because he kind of sticks to those standard, like he plays Bastion, Mercy, and like Reinhardt. And then and I don't really see Bizzle play much else, but when he plays Reinhardt, I just see the kill feed light up. He just goes fucking crazy, and then he'll get play of the game a whole lot. But I mean, still going back, the whole thing.
This is offensive, Reinhardt. It's just I see people I'm gonna charge.
Shift, click, shift.
Have you tried playing support to Bizzle's Reinhardt? You're sitting there as Mercy. It's like, oh, there's gonna be a shield, and it's great, and I'm safe. And then he's off over there, and you're like,
Charge off the map soon.
Yeah,
But
I
I
actually
follow
tried
like
playing Mercy a while back, and like I saw my Reinhardt just like, oh, I'm gonna charge forward. I was like,
That was me.
yeah. I was like, okay, Josh, you have fun.
Followed me though. I got play of the game. See, that's the thing. I got play of the game that game with Reinhardt because tanks are. I mean, not many people play tanks, but I think like a fraction of the people who play tanks play support on top of that. Like, not enough people play tanks to begin with, and it just speaks to how few people nowadays are playing support because of points that like Rachel and everybody brought up. That mentality of when you start losing, you're like, well, fuck these guys. I'm going to carry all these shitters with like Soldier or something. And I succumb to that mentality a lot too. Not only because I'm like the best player in the lobby all the time, but I'm just kidding. It's just that whole like you get stuck in that I have to kill people, I have to frag in order to get the win, and you kind of forget about the bigger picture.
Honestly, kills
I
aren't
think a
that
lot of
important in Overwatch, to be fair.
Oh, the
I think
timing
a
of the
lot
kills,
of
that's the thing.
Yeah.
The tank players are actually the fill. Like, they're really just fill players. Like, both Dylan and I, we're absolute just fill.
Yeah, and I mean, and some of it's due to my personal preference. I know I'm not mechanically gifted. Like, if you see me play Widow or Hanzo, you're going to see me do nothing for an entire solid game because it's just that's not going to come together. Me playing Tracer is going to be abysmal. Sure, I could pull out a Reaper because I know how to press Q when the time is right, and I know how to drop down. But essentially, I know that, if I'm not mechanically gifted, there's got to be, like, some way for me to be effective. So what I learned is, A, I can play supports, and, no one's going to bitch out a support player. And B, I can play tanks and be very effective because I know, hey, when is the time I can hit a big ultimate? And I mean, it's like looking for Reinhardt shields being down, Winston shields being down, dropping Zarya ulti, Reinhardt ulti, and then knowing how to counter what's ailing your team. So, and here's one of the ones that almost nobody thinks of. If a Tracer or Genji is ruining your life, if it's the reason your team is, not leaving base or your supply lines are being cut, rush either Winston, people can think of that one pretty easily, or rush Symmetra. I guarantee you will get more kills on Genji as Symmetra than you might as a soldier,
Yeah,
or
you just set
even
up a
as
kill
a
box.
Reaper.
You said what
Auto
killed.
aim, baby.
No, auto aim on that gun, because almost no Genji is going to think, oh, I should run away from that Symmetra. And then you just hop all around him and kill him. And then he's like, oh, I should not have fought that Symmetra. It's funny, but in close range, she is one of the most dangerous characters out there.
Yeah, her damage increases, I think, every second it's on a target. And so, by its third tick, it's doing like
You're dead,
120.
yo.
120 DPS, one of the highest in the game.
I'll take it.
And that's the interesting thing about the meta throughout these entire 6 months, because I rarely see people counterpick in the middle of a game, and that's something that Blizzard really wanted. Why they're pushing this kind of multi-hero thing so much. It's like, yo, just if the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result the next time. Why the hell have you died 8 times in a row on Widowmaker? It doesn't work. Switch over to literally anything else and try that out. But a lot of players just haven't caught on to that quite yet. It's only when you get into these 5-6-man premates and you're playing up against other 5-6-man premates that you see that active counterpicking, or maybe in a competitive setting. But like honestly, I think it'll take a long time for the casual pug community to get into the habit of switching, because you see it in like ranked play pretty often. You see it in competitions and tournaments like constantly, but man, people are so greedy. It's like, man, I just have 40 more % to get to my ult. It's like, it's Recon Visor. Who cares?
Okay,
It's a MOBA mentality.
I actually will make a counterpoint for the casual pugs of the world. Okay, so the problem is with that particular instance, I mean, not with Widowmaker, because Widowmaker's all this garbage, right? But if it, like, okay, take for instance when I play Reinhardt, right? If I'm at like 40, or more like 50 or so % ult, right? I don't know when that percentage is that I just say, screw it, I'm done, I need to change, right? There is no real answer for that. And I feel like, okay, I'm close to it, then I die, and then I'm close to it again, and then I die, right? And by the 4th time I die, I'm like 98%. So I'm just like, what do I do, right? So I think that's one of the big issues that the casual pug community is facing right now.
Yeah, and I think that comes with time. I mean, that's a feeling thing. It's like, is 50% really close? Is it worth it for me to stick it out? And I feel Chris's pain, because I do play a lot of Zarya. And yes, I'm going to bring up Zarya once again.
Yeah.
Her charge up is insane. I mean, it's the cost of having such a great ultimate is the fact that it takes so long to build it. And like, I time it out at like 2.5 minutes of play for me to really build it up, unless for some reason they have like a Roadhog sticking out and just like being out in front of my team and I can put laser on him constantly. But, you know, I have this like rough mental timer. And as I play more and more heroes and I get more and more attuned to it, I think I'll start figuring out, you know, the time cost per average charge. And I think, you know, once I get used to this, you know, other people are going to start doing the same thing. They'll start really knowing what the cost of a switch is. So, you know, it's an inbuilt thing. Like, this is experience. And unfortunately, it's a new game. Hasn't even come out yet. So, I mean, I can't even say it's a new game. It's in beta. Like, that's a feeling. That's a learned instinct that comes with time. So give people the time. I'm sure they'll get more used to switching. And as Chris said, like, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Well, guess what? It takes a while for people to learn that lesson. We see it in real life. People replicate the exact same thing until they hit rock bottom where, you know, it just starts hurting to the point they're like, you know what? Just going out there and playing Diva against this Bastion that's just raining down on me, maybe I should go with, you know, a Reinhardt who, you know, is going to throw up a shield and my teammates can kill him. Yes, folks, that is how you take down a Bastion. You get friends.
Oh, wait.
Wait, you mean Reinhardt's not just there for the hammer? What? He's got a thing, right? I've seen that thing once in a while.
It's this blocking thing, and you know what the great thing about that blocking thing is? It makes your DPS invulnerable.
Nah, man, I gotta hit E. I gotta hit that flame strike constantly. I didn't even know there was a right click.
If I'm not getting kills, I'm not winning.
Yeah.
No,
No, but really, I just kept
That's
charging.
the mentality. It really is.
Yeah, and Bizzle's just off there charging into the next battle, waving his hammer around.
what'd you say?
Honestly, I would love to see maybe a team that has two Reinhardts, one that's like defensively focused, and then you have attack Reinhardt who's just charging down the enemy team.
We saw that in tournaments without hero limits. It used to be 2 Reinhardt, like 2 Reaper, 2 Lucio, and then when Reinhardt got nerfed a little bit, it went straight to Winston, and that's how people played.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
double
the standard.
Winston.
That was the standard format for tournaments that don't run multiple.
And it was so boring to watch because every team on every map on both sides would run the same shit over and over again. And that is why I am advocating hero limit. I'm Joshua Lee. Vote for me in 2016. Thank you very much.
Here to make Overwatch great again,
Dylan?
guys.
Can we do this opening weekend? Well, open beta weekend. Can we run double Reinhardt?
We
We're
can
all
run
gonna
double
be
right.
We're all
We've
gonna
Double
be
run
in
6
DreamHack.
before and we've won. It's hilarious.
Oh, yeah,
We need
that's
a healer, or at least one, I'd assume.
Sure.
But yeah, that would be funny. Like, just imagine like chain pinning people. How like sad you would be if you're like a diva and the first pin lands and you're like, I'm alive. Second
GG.
one comes in, it's like.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
I have a question for you guys.
The other
actually,
foot
about meta.
falls.
Okay, go for it.
I have
Go
a
ahead.
question. So
Go ahead.
we've had all of us have had like 6 months on the game because we've been lucky enough to be blessed by the Blizzard gods. But
Yeah.
the people that have been playing this game is a very small population. Like not a whole lot of people have access,
Sure.
which in turn leads to less varied data, and you don't get a whole lot of information. Once open beta happens and once the game officially launches, since we'll have so many new players trying out so many different things and a lot more data to work with, do you think we'll see, like, imagine if nothing got changed from this current patch and it just dropped like this? Do you think we would see considerable meta shifts just due to the amount of hours that are being played compared to what are being played now as a population?
Offensive Symmetra, secret OP. And like I'll actually back this up. Like, it's not your main healer. You still need a healer for offensive Symmetra to work. But I guarantee you, eventually people will learn the value of being able to drop a stealth teleporter next to the point. Because there are some maps, like, I've seen this and I've done this, and it works really well on Hollywood. If you can put your teleporter into that bottom left-hand pool next to that big health pot, and just have your 6-man spawn right next to the stairs of that point, you can win so many games so quickly because you get your first rush down, you hopefully get a clear, at least 5-man clear, and one person's off scatter doing whatever they want, and then you can start setting up in that room. I think there's so much that we haven't delved into because a lot of people became complacent in what they thought was a meta, where they're like, okay, we need 4 DPS, 1 tank, 1 healer. That's good. That's, base. Or for the more competitive community, it's 2 tank, 2 support. But I think a lot of people aren't weighing utility against DPS correctly. I think there's a lot in utility, and this also goes for heroes like Mei, where I think there's a lot that could be done with Mei. A lot that can be done with Mei on attack. I think attack Mei is actually very strong when used correctly. Like, we've all faced that Mei where we're like, oh, this is a pain in my rear end to even deal with. And especially when you have 2 tanks. Good Lord, Mei is so useful. So I think there's a lot that people still haven't played with that needs to get done. And then if we're talking about varied data, just wait until we start talking about console Overwatch and how that game is going to be completely different.
Is it really?
Thistle,
though?
you're muted.
Do we really think that that's going to be
Oh.
that different?
Oh.
It's gonna be 6
here's-
DPS
Oh
versus 6
my
DPS.
God.
That's console
We
life.
have to choose one.
We
There's
have-
only going to be one, and it's going to be PC. So I'm so excited to play on my PlayStation. Don't get me wrong, because it's going to be a nice weekend diversion, having friends over and just stomping kids' faces into the ground. But the competitive scene, I can't imagine it living anywhere
No,
other than
it's not. It's not. But is the meta shift between if you I bought it I have it pre-ordered for PC and multiple consoles. So if I jump,
Damn, you hate money.
I do.
I'm sorry.
Hey man,
We love
I
Overwatch.
love Overwatch. To be fair, and Rachel
That's what
Rachel was sitting next to me when they announced the date at BlizzCon. I was sitting next to Rachel and she was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, I just pre-ordered Overwatch.
Pre-ordering.
And the guy walked up and asked about Mac. Remember that?
What? Oh yeah.
And then everybody was sad.
No, but no, I like. Is it? Do you guys think the meta differences are gonna be that big depending on whether or not you're playing on a console or a PC?
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
So strong. Static defenders are going to be a nightmare on the PC version.
Well, I
Like-
also hear, I mean, when you make any console game, you have to put in, because people are aiming with their thumbs, there's like a very slight auto aim.
Yeah.
And I just feel like no matter how slight it is, when you're playing a character like Tracer or like anyone with like, not a lot of drop off in damage, Bastions, you're just gonna be able to wreck
Dude,
people.
well, yeah, it was like the thing. Remember the first couple days of the beta, they forgot to turn off auto assists from the console. Remember, because they had auto assist or
Yeah.
auto assist aim assist built into the game from the console, but it wasn't announced
Before
yet.
the announced console too.
Yeah, and so they had it in there, and I guess they data mined it or like figured it out, and like the community was like, wait, this game has aim assist, why? And so Blizzard was like,
just kidding.
Blizzard was like, my bad, and just like took it out of the game. And like in that period of time, Tracer was extremely strong, Reaper was extremely like, there's some strong heroes in there, man.
You'd be like, I'm not this good. What's happening? I'm great.
This game
I think
needs
it's
it, man.
inevitable because I come from a competitive shooter background on console. Everybody makes fun of COD esports all the time, but that's like where I came from. And when you take a look at the PC community and like the console community, people favor different guns because your aim. I don't care how good you are on a controller, man. You just cannot aim as well as you can with a keyboard and mouse. And because of that reason, and the way games are balanced, the PC community always favored certain guns over others because recoil uncontrollable with a controller, well, it's so much easier to just take a mouse and like pull down, and all of a sudden that gun becomes optimal. So I agree that things like Bastion and where you can just kind of sit down or just spray people are going to be a lot more powerful. I don't know how people are going to deal with things like Tracer and stuff because it's hard, unless you're playing Symmetra or like Winston, it's hard enough to catch a Tracer as like a soldier or like a Hanzo, God forbid, like Widowmaker trying to snipe out a Tracer who's rushing at you. I don't know how you can possibly manage that with a controller unless you're playing on like 2000 sensitivity. And if you're playing on 2000 sensitivity, you're probably not going to hit anything more than once.
I think
Playing in
McCree's
2010
gonna be
City,
really
you
interesting
don't
on a
need
console. Like, cause that's gonna be real hard to aim correctly. McCree's right click is gonna be possibly hot garbage on a
Yeah,
console.
you literally just
I think it'll be really
farming, not
good.
noon at that point. With aim assist,
Really?
yeah.
Right?
Click.
Yeah. Okay, explain this to me. Go ahead.
Because McCree's right click, I mean, people played with me, I just call it right click to win. Because you literally just aim in the general vicinity of the person, you right click, and then you kill them because it just does so much damage and it does it in such a short period of time. So on console, you just take your control, you aim your reticle at them, you right click or whatever the equivalent is. And I feel like you have to stay on target for like you don't have to be as accurate. So I think he's going to be really good on console, especially because he's mobile.
See, my feeling on it is I labbed McCree a bit, right? And worked on him when it comes to right click, right? And trying to aim that perfectly whenever it happens and dealing with recoil. And if you don't do that, it's really hard to get that correct.
But it
right?
depends
if you
how
don't
much.
move things.
It depends how much aim assist is on there, Bizzle. Because if they
Yeah,
activate
that's
aim
true.
assist and like it makes it like if you only have to get into the general vicinity of the hitbox, then that makes it super easy with that amount of DPS too. It all comes like console shooters. If we're talking about aim assist, it all comes down to DPS to a certain point because you just have to get in the general vicinity. And sure, you're gonna miss more than you're gonna hit on like a console, but if your DPS is higher, then the aim assist really makes a difference.
Yeah. Now, one
I
thing
think McCree, yeah. Keep
One
going,
thing
Dylan.
I will say that's going to be actually very hard for McCree, if I'm looking at his entire skill set as a whole and how it's supposed to work in combo, it's supposed to be right click, roll, right click. Well, the right click's not the hard part. If you're just running, right click is going to be very strong on console. Your problem is right click, roll, right click. So think about how you're playing this on a console. Your character rolls forward. This is not a when you play on PC, you get very, I want to say, disconnected from essentially the dynamics of your character due to how you can control the camera and how quick you can turn. Now, if I'm playing McCree and the person is 45 degrees to my left, I just right-click shot him, and I roll forward. I now need to make a 135-degree turn to hit this guy again. Or if I'm looking at him straight on, roll past, I now have to make a 180-degree turn in order to get the next shot off. Mm-hmm. On a console, that is a hard turn. That is an extremely hard turn to get up from, find your target again, and once again release the right click. Now, given you're also going to take the exact same excuse for the other person who now has a McCree on their opposite side, he's going to have a hard time turning. So, is it... I might have counterpointed myself, so I will apologize there. But I'm going to say there are some difficulties here that we haven't encountered as PC players. People who can, make turns relatively fast. The turn radius on such tight melee characters could be really hard to pull off. I don't know. But the other one that I think is really funny when you talk about is I think the one that's going to be so strong for them is going to be Reaper. Because essentially he's just marathon shotgunner, just, running through people. Like he's... Like, a lot of people are like, oh, Soldier's going to be great for them. They're going to be able to pull out everything that they know. Like, yes, he's the closest emulation to a Call of Duty character. But since so much of his DPS is tied into actually headshotting and doing these round bursts, he's going to have a terrible time for most players to learn to use his headshots correctly and to line them up, depending on how much aimbot assist there is. Whereas someone like Reaper is just going to be kind of the god of the mode.
Yep.
Yeah, it's burst, AoE, or point and click that's going to reign console, I think. Like, I think Genji's going to be awful.
Yeah. It's going to be very hard for them to get that off.
I think I could see Pharah being really strong.
Ulti on... Here's one thing for you guys to ponder. Ulti is on Y on console. Think about using the Y button.
I don't like the Y button. It's a lot of up there.
Isn't that weird? Like, I'm not the only one that's sitting here thinking, like, the Y button.
It'd be weird for stuff like high, like, for McCree and Soldier, where you have to aim and, like, you hit your ulti and then aim.
Yeah.
Like, you have to hit Y and then go back to the thumbstick. It just seems
like,
awkward.
I was thinking... Yeah, and especially because, like, I play claw on a controller, so, like, I hold it like this, and I have my index finger, like, hitting the face button.
Okay? Are you doing that on purpose?
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, so you can hit, because you need to be able to, like, you don't want to take your right thumb off.
Get yourself a scuff.
Yeah, just get
I
like
do have a scuff, but I play scuff with the...
With the
claw. With the claw!
Wait, what do you use your paddles for then? Wait, hold on, time out. What do you use the paddles for?
First of all, scuffs break super easy. I've gone through a couple. Second of all, I only play with 2 paddles on the back because I want my Y button because sometimes you need to jump switch and like shoot at this.
No,
anyway,
use paddles. What?
What's everybody's face look like that?
What? Because no one plays like that. What? It's like it's like CS:GO players and they play like turned around. CS:GO players are.
Oh my god! Stop.
Let me turn my keyboard like this, and we're going to play like.
You guys need to calm down, okay? But.
Rachel looks disgusting.
Okay, so I
play on a dance pad, okay? I feel like I better express myself.
There we go.
I'm so done.
There we go.
But I was just gonna say how like it'd be awkward for me because my finger would rest right above
Y. It's awkward for you anyway.
Holy shit! Shut up. But I can see it like Chris brought up the point of you have to hit Y and then get to your thumbstick. So milliseconds count in shooters, and for me it'd be like I have such a. It's so risky to have my finger there because I would probably hit Y.
All right, excuse me, but can we talk for a minute? Because when the ultimate is on Q on my keyboard, okay, I got this little pinky, and my nails are nice, and they're long, and sometimes I fire off my ultimate, and I don't mean to. So if we're going to complain about placements, we have to go both ways. Q, not always the most convenient.
No, but see, like you could rebind it. You could rebind it on a keyboard. Like on a keyboard, you have multiple areas to be able to hit it. Like on a keyboard on a controller, there are literally 9 options. Also, Rachel, if you want to be serious Overwatch player, you got to cut your nails.
I know. That's why they're all short again.
How long are your nails that your ring finger hits QX?
Not that long. They were
Yeah,
they were a
those
little
are
bit longer.
pretty short.
Like, damn,
God,
girl, you got some
okay.
crazy nails.
I'm confused. Do you do that like this? Is this how you grip a
I love how
controller?
this
Yeah,
is
that's
like
how I
still
play
This
with
stuck on
finger, it's
this.
this one, not this one. This one.
That's how I play with it.
Like this?
Yeah.
Why? How? Why? Okay, wait.
Because
Time out.
you
How
need
did this
more
start?
buttons.
How did this start? What?
Because we mentioned how awkward it'd be to hold controllers, or like how awkward it is for
Yeah, how
Ultimate
you
on
hold with
Y.
Y.
No,
And I'm
no.
like,
I'm
yeah, it's
saying
awkward
how
for
did
me.
how
'Cause-
did your usage of the claw start?
Okay, because like first, because it was really popular in COD and Halo because jump shotting is really prevalent.
Because they're all
So-
12-year-olds that don't
Shut
know how to
up.
hold controllers properly.
It
Okay,
was
keep
the
going.
optimal way to enter gunfights. Okay, so
It was
what?
the cool thing to do. That's what he's saying. He was trying to
That
be
That
cool.
was the optimal
Oh.
way to shoot a gun.
It was okay.
You turn it
guys
on
need-
its side and you tilt it a little bit and you.
I
Put...
get enough of this shit at work on set when
Yeah,
everybody
it's
makes fun
like
of
the
COD.
best way to hold a microphone is like upside down. Like you're
Hold
right.
on.
To be fair, I do have my microphone upside down, but
To be
it's on.
fair,
A...
that's how I
Because
hosted
I
my
wanted to
first
hit more
event.
buttons at once, and at the time, Scuff only offered 2 paddles, and I needed to hit X and Y as well at the same time.
Then get a 4-panel
Because it saves
controller and
time.
hold it like a normal person.
They only made 2 paddles back then, like years ago. Now they have like 4 paddles, magnetic shit, and like trigger stops, and it'll
Yeah.
probably make you breakfast if you have that option too. But back then, that was just optimal. That's what you did, and my hand hurt because of it. But like,
They actually
was-
don't make you breakfast. They only make hot pockets because that's what the kids
My
like.
hand already hurts, and I was just doing that for 2 minutes. Wait, okay. Do you play melee like that too?
I don't play melee. Do you see some people play melee? There's
I
a
know.
guy who holds his controller upside down.
There is. There actually
There
is
is.
someone that does that. Getting off topic a little bit, but no, that's actually really important. Not gonna lie.
We're just controller shaming people now.
I just don't understand how anyone uses the claw, especially when like paddles are a thing. I'm lost.
You just get used to it. I play Rocket League like that too because I just find it easier. I can't play any other way.
What? You play Rocket League with the claw?
Yeah, because I can't use my scuff for it because it has trigger stop, so you can't go as fast. But I don't know. Let's talk about Overwatch. I'm so done. I hate
so
you guys.
let's get back to the meta.
I'm gonna
Let's
do some hand exercises for a few minutes.
Yeah,
chat.
like-
Claw is bait. Don't diss the claw. That's right.
Whatever. Tansen doesn't know what he's talking about. That's why Tansen's not on this episode.
Dude, forget the meta. Let's talk about the most recent Overwatch tournament, the first Overwatch LAN tournament, PAX.
Oh yeah, that's actually pretty awesome. So Rachel, go ahead and give us a breakdown of PAX.
Well, we had 32 teams sign up. It was like open signups at PAX, and this was actually an incredible experiment to see what happens with like the meta and stuff. So the top 2 teams that made it to the end were comprised of 4 people, both of them 4 people who had never played before. It was like their first time sitting down playing Overwatch, except maybe like 1 or 2 free weekends. And then each team had like 2 semi-competitive, like semi-professional gamers. One of them had 2 Dota players, and the other team had 2 FPS players. And what was incredible was like the team strategy. Their first time engaging with the game, all of them like quickly found a character that they like jived with, and then sat on it the whole game. And I can't say that anyone would have fared exceptionally well against a really practiced professional team, but the things they're able to do, the things they're able to pull off, it's pretty amazing. I think a lot of different people are gonna be able to play and enjoy Overwatch.
No, absolutely. I mean, like, and
Did
I'm
you
excited
play
to
in
see
them?
all this stuff start to pop up. Now that we're getting close to release, like, we have DreamHack coming up. There should be some great community stuff there. We have, as soon as it's released, I'm assuming Blizzard's going to go ahead and announce some stuff for adding it to the WCS format, and I'm excited. So actually, this brings to the last point I wanted to bring up was, what do we think? Because we have beta's gone now. Open back up in 2 weeks for the 3rd and it opens up that DreamHack weekend. How much are we gonna see before changes? Meaning changes into the game balance wise. What are we looking forward to them changing between now and the release?
Delete Genji. Thank you very much.
Is he still a problem?
I think in good hands, he's just like, I don't know how they can balance him. Well, I have a lot of ideas, but I think his kit is just like incredibly overloaded. And his skill floor is really high, but his skill ceiling is like astronomical, and it's so hard to deal with a good Genji. Like
Well, it's
by the time you
also-
switch, you're like screwed.
Yeah, and I think one of the main problems with Genji is the fact that his counters are not super popular characters. His 3 counters, in my book, I could be, fundamentally wrong here, is I counted as Symmetra, Winston, and Mei. And none of those are, like the top people you're going to see in every single game. I think you could also throw Reinhardt in there, even though he's a little more immobile in it. But yeah, you want those auto aims, those non-projectile based heroes to deal with them, and a lot of people don't pick those ones. They're just in popular picks right now. So until people start realizing that you have to pick to counter, Genji will be a problem. Tracer will be an issue.
Sure. Anyone and Bizzle, Rachel, guys, changes you want to see or changes you think are going to see before release.
I think we're gonna see a little bit more playing with the damage and stuff like that. I think we're gonna. I mean, my imagination when this comes out is we're gonna get a whole nother dump of like skins and lore and fun fancy things. But I really think aside from some small tweakings which they've been making throughout the beta, it's not until I think the first couple weeks of everybody playing that we're gonna see any major changes.
So what do we?
I feel like they're.
Oh, keep
I
going.
have 2 that go ahead after you.
No, I was going to say, I feel like they're this last bit of changes, they're pretty comfortable, but they've also shown that they never stop tweaking things. So I think we're up for a couple more experimentations. But as soon as it comes out of console, they're going to be really resistant to I mean, I imagine changing a lot of things. It's tough to update console.
Yeah. Okay, so my 2 are smallish, and I have like 1 or 2 more, but I've forgotten them all. But the big one I want is, I don't know why you cannot buy with gold, or with gold, the your character icon. It is the most frustrating thing, because
But that's
all I
what makes
want.
them special.
Unplayable. I agree.
Is it uncompetitively viable? I completely agree.
Okay, so for one, it is the one thing that you see always, right? You see it when you're in the game, you see it when you go into competitive game, you see everybody's, right? So, and for 2, like all I wanted during the entire open or closed beta was having that Zerg portrait. And I was like, I'm gonna get it, and then like I've gotten a third of them, but not that one. And I don't care how much it is, right? But that's a small but frustrating and annoying thing for me. And number 2, loot boxes. Oh my god, the fact that I cannot open them while we're waiting on a game is so frustrating. Like, or while we're like in like the place in between, and like you have to like sit there and say, all right, we have 5 seconds in between these games. All right, open it now.
Well, yeah, I guess if you're talking about other changes they're going to make, I am frustrated that when you go into your hero stuff that you can't just click onto the next screen. Like, you can't navigate left and right when you're examining your hero and you're looking at all the different skins and things for them.
So, yeah, that would be nice too.
Sure.
But okay, so I am going to go from developer notes and talking about updates. So Kaplan has said that until release, everything will be small scale. They are not looking to shake the boat. And I mean, we saw this in the overall trend. At the very beginning, like, they completely reworked Bastion and Torbjorn inside of the beta. They gutted Mercy like Bastion. A fish. Yeah. So we've seen what a large scale change is, but now we look and like, what were the changes they made in the last patch? Zenyatta's healing went from 25 or 20 per second on his Orb of Harmony to 30. Like, that's the scale of change we're talking about now. So I think until a new hero comes in and really shakes things up, I think changes are going to be very small in scale. They've really, and I agree with this. I don't think the game is really at a place where the imbalance is super high. These are small, either quality of life or very small damage or value changes that need to happen, or that should happen soon. But the game's in a good place, so I think changes are going to be small. And the last thing I want to touch is the differentiation between PC and console. Kaplan's already gone out and said in a dev update that console will have its very own balancing team. So you never have to worry about what happens on console affecting you versus PC. They're very cognizant of the fact that these are going to be 2 different environments, 2 completely different play styles. as they evolve. So never expect, things that get nerfed on console to happen to PC, because that would just be ridiculous. So those are two things I just wanted to iron out here. So don't expect any major changes. If you've grown to know something in the game, it's probably going to stay that way through release. There's no real need for them to make a big change right now, especially after just like an open beta weekend. They're not going to pull that much. They're going to learn a lot more about their network stability than they will about their champions and viability, or their heroes and viability. Because also, let's not forget the fact that we're going to have a lot of new players entering the game, and we're going to have some really, really bad games. I think we all saw in that closed beta weekend invite we had recently.
Oh yeah,
it got pretty funny.
Well, I mean, this kind of gets back to the point of when the game's released with this wide player pool. What do we think what do we think we're gonna see in terms of just kind of public meta changes? We're gonna see, of course, a lower level of play, but like what?
You're gonna see a lot of QQ. You're gonna be like, oh my god, Bastion's overpowered. Oh my god, Torbjorn is like unstoppable, everyone. We need to nerf Torbjorn.
Yeah, and so like that's what I'm saying. Like you're gonna start to see a lot more Bastion, a lot more Torbjorn, like kind of just really easy to play champions, or not, well, heroes. No, champions.
Well, you're going to see a lot of people being salty because they think they're the best Farrer Tracer ever, and they just run out and get mowed down.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is, for those of you who have played the game for a few months already, for the first few months of the game, always play in a 6-man, otherwise you're going to rip your hair out. And just play Torbjorn, Bastion, Mercy counters, because that's all we're going to see.
Can we just all agree to play together for like a few months?
Yeah, we're gonna see some cool. I think we're gonna see some. Oh my god, High School Musical.
I know.
I think we'll see some very cool, unique trends develop. Very cool. Have you not seen that movie?
No,
I have never.
No.
Okay, I was in drama club. I'm allowed to have seen High School Musical.
Wait, you were in drama club?
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
Did I not tell you I was raised in a theater family? Like, that's literally what my life was growing up.
Okay.
That's so untheater-like of you to not mention that ever, actually.
Yeah, I'll give you a lot of props, man. You'd hardly mention that. Most theater kids would mention that right away.
Literally, first thing I said to Chris, "Hi, I'm Josh. I did theater in high school."
Yeah, no, it was actually really funny. When I was in high school, I was in drama club and didn't tell people I was like a gamer or like a really hardcore nerd. And now that I'm a gamer and a hardcore nerd, I don't tell people I'm that I did drama.
You're hiding pieces of yourself, man.
Yeah, the reversing of life.
Yeah. It's like the rule of CrossFit. Like it's the opposite of Fight Club, right? So like if you do CrossFit, the number one rule of CrossFit is you have to tell everyone about CrossFit.
It's not a hobby, it's a cult.
It's a cult.
It's why I got into casting, because I discovered video games later on in life, but I still crave the attention that my inner theater kid. I'm just kidding.
Exactly. I mean, that's why I picked up casting. I was like, I suck at games. Because I didn't start when I was like 5. But guess what? I can talk to people a lot. I'm really good at talking, so let's do casting.
I'm so important. I sound great right now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stream.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
We have covered a lot of topics tonight.
We have.
Yeah, I know. I derailed this train so hard. This is great.
We unpacked a lot here.
It actually started with the claw. The claw started the whole derailing thing.
You started this, Josh.
Survival way to hold the controller.
I don't think it is. Okay, actually, really quick, what's going on with the way we hold keyboards? Are we gonna hold? Is Overwatch gonna become CS:GO? Are we gonna turn our keyboards vertically?
Why do they do that? It's so dumb.
We gotta. I think we should hold them. We should pioneer a new method.
I'm actually building mine into a keytar.
So
I will be playing it standing up.
Wait, there was a StarCraft player who played on his lap always. It was Sheth.
It was Sheth. Sheth always did, yeah. Well, Sheth, the reason Sheth, honestly, it actually made sense. The way Sheth described the way he used his keyboard was that tournaments, when he went, because at the time when Sheth was really active, it was like IPL, MLG, and stuff like that, right? And like his description of it was that tournaments, don't always have a consistent playing level. Like their tables are always different heights, or like the booths or whatever they're having playing on aren't always at a consistent height. So if it's on his lap, it's always a consistent height. He knows where it is. It's comfortable, and he can just play that way. And so it actually
crazy.
made more sense than Josh using the claw.
I meant Chef. That don't matter.
Yeah, I admit that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, especially if I buy a scuff.
Yeah, it does not.
Hey man, it's what I'm
Dude,
comfortable
here's
with.
my $150 controller. I'm gonna hold it so I don't use the paddles that it's built for.
I wish it was 150, man.
Is it more? I can't remember. It was like 250, something like that. I can't remember.
All I know is like when I first bought it, I'm like, I can't believe I'm spending half the console cost on a new controller. But I'm about to dump on some kids real quick. Plus, I'll look cool.
Oh COD kids, ladies and gentlemen, let's all band together right now. Anyone watching, future, past, present, whatever, please don't let Overwatch become COD. It's not a thing.
It'll never get there. I think the PC community will keep it pretty grounded.
Sure.
It's going to be more memes than it is Call of Duty. Going to be so many memes.
Well, finally, Oversalt is going to be over. Only Watch and Oversalt.
Only Watch is gone. Yeah. Well,
They'll
no,
find
we're all
something else
Only
to be
Watch
salty
until
about.
until the
2 weeks.
release.
2 weeks.
No,
2 weeks,
we're all
and then we
Nova
get
watching.
Yeah. But guys, good talking about the meta. We talked about the claw.
Is that what we talked about?
We talked about the claw. We talked about Dylan's drama history.
My hand still hurts.
You should honestly close your door before you do that next time. But Rachel's face was great. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching. Anyone want to give any shout outs or announce anything or anything what we're doing before we head out?
Hey,
Keep your
everyone,
eyes
remember-
on DreamHack.
Keep your
Yeah,
eyes on
DreamHack.
DreamHack.
And then be on the lookout. We should be seeing a new video soon. We're almost a month out from last short, and this will be the short that bridges us, I think, to release.
Okay.
That I know who it is too.
I know who the fourth one is, so I know who the one is after this one.
God.
Okay.
That was an
Some insider info
I
from
know.
Overtalk.
Well,
guys-
I have secrets too.
No, I think you just let out your best secret there, Josh. The
Yeah.
claw is like, that's it for today.
But now it's for my theater return.
There's some really exciting stuff going on, guys. But just keep your eyes out, and we'll be back next week. Bye.